listen, as long as you're not harming anyone and you're not causing harm to anyone, don't worry about what they're saying about you and criticizing you for. Live your life to your fullest and radiate, from within.
Welcome back to another episode of Voices of the Goddess, where brilliant women come to take a break from their successful and sometimes overwhelming lives to level up, live free, and create abundance.
If your hectic life has you feeling a bit lost, if you're building your career, brand, or business, or if you simply want to get the most out of life, this podcast is for you. I'm your host, Julieta Wenzel, founder of Body and Soul PT and Soul Candy.
And I'm your co-host, Graciela Laurent, professional portrait photographer specializing in boudoir and personal branding.
Whether you're relaxing with a cup of coffee or running around town, we've got you.
Whatever you're doing, thanks for bringing us along and sharing a laugh.
Here comes the magic. Hello, Graciela.
It's showtime yet again. You know that if you watch us on YouTube, you get to see us stare at the screen for just a few seconds. So for those that don't know, behind the scenes, like we're live on YouTube, but when you do the podcast, they chop out the parts where, we're just kind of standing around. So we got to do this weird pause at the beginning. And I keep watching our replays and I'm like, oh man, we look so silly. So I think I'm going to start interjecting like ridiculous faces during that time as a bonus to whoever watches YouTube.
We can do it too for like the blooper show. Our editors will love that if we give them some funny stuff to work with. We should.
Oh. Well, that should be easy. I'm pretty sure if you remove the volume of any episode and just do my face, it's probably a show in and of itself. I'm fairly certain. Between that and my hand gestures, like
the hands, the hair, the everything.
I know. You know what it is that my hair is like has all this gray in it. So like I really want to like play with it, and it's true. I cannot look at myself. It's completely distracting. It's not even vain. It's just the colors. I'm like, ooh, I want to play with my pretty hair. Okay. Focus. What do we want to talk about today? Rituals. Yes. Okay. So I was going to share with you my little cacao ritual. I know, and I'm curious what yours is and how you have your cacao in the morning too. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys know, we've been diving into the cacao world, and we've had a couple of cacao ceremonies here at the studio, which has been a lot of fun. Women's circles, very sacred, very cool, like, instant manifestation type stuff. But we do a lighter dose during our mornings. Julieta, tell me this is not like the most amazing thing in the world. Me, Graciela, is waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
I am beyond impressed, but yes. I'm going to tell you, I do not wake up at 5 in the morning, but I'm super impressed that you.
No, I have to just because of it. I just want to do things the way I want to do them. Right. So, we were talking in a different episode about making coffee. Like I, like you, have always made coffee very absent-mindedly. You make it, I know you're anti-microwave, but I'd even nuke my water sometimes, like just hurry up and got to get out and, drink it in the car and spill half of it and, all that. But cacao is so much more special. And first of all, it's chocolate, right? It's like the root of chocolate.
The nectar of the gods.
Oh, so just like when you open the bag, that chocolate, can you hear me? Oh, it's so good, right? And then I also put cayenne, I put cinnamon, I put cardamom, I put, oh my gosh, what else? Maple syrup. That's been a fun addition to it. And
the lavender.
Oh yes, guys, please go on Amazon or somewhere reputable. Just make sure you go to the right place. Buy yourself a bag of dried rose, right? Just literally dried rose petals. They come in little crumbly little pieces that you could just put right on top. They're good for recipes and like if you make brownie, I don't know, whatever else you put roses in. But putting it at the top of my frothy little cacao makes me feel so special. And this is the point that I wanted to make, is that when you do things mindfully, when you take your time with them, it becomes a meditation, right? So like, that's why I set aside, I feel so indulgent when I'm about to tell you, like I set aside from 5 to 6:30 to just do shit for myself, right? And when I tell you do shit, I only mean create my cacao in the most peaceful, calm, loving way possible, right? And then I do journaling, I do my gratitude, I do whatever, offering up my prayers to the universe. And it's just such a sacred time for me. It sets the tone for my entire day. And of course, the cacao has me like focused and high and just, absolutely insane.
And do point out that that's not in a chemical way. I mean,
right. No.
there
I'm not
there
really
is
high.
chemistry involved, but cacao is not a
It's not
psychotropic drug or anything, but it's been amazing to see the focus, the creativity, the intention that it
the
creates.
energy throughout the day. Like it's insane. But honestly, out of everything that it does, I appreciate having that little ritual in the morning. Like I literally look forward to it, right? Like how when like you're at a job you don't like and the alarm goes off and you're like, oh, you don't want to get out of bed, you feel sluggish, etc. I don't feel that. My alarm goes off at 5 and I'm like, hell yeah, it's cacao time. Woot woot. And I am ready to jump out and go. And I'm just really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about that Gaia episode about water? And I'm sure you've seen these experiments where like if you talk to water a certain way, the frequency of it affects the health of the water, right? So it's the same thing. Like if you imbue your coffee with today's going to be a terrible day. I hate that it's Monday. I got to go to this shitty job. Oh, I can't believe I have to get up early. You're literally putting that energy, and this is scientific. This is not woo, okay? Go watch a program and do the math and check YouTube, okay? What you put into that water, you are literally drinking it. You're consuming it, right? And then you're taking all those negative vibes and you're putting it in your body. Like you want to start being healthy, you want to start feeling better. Stop talking shit to your food. Stop saying terrible crap over your cup of coffee. Like be grateful to it and thank goodness that you can have this opportunity, right? I'm on fire today, girl. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing about my ritual is I make it with joy, like all the ingredients. I use the and I told you earlier, today's ended up with a little extra cayenne in it on accident, but it was good. I guess I needed that extra fire today.
It is legal season.
I use maple syrup as my sweetener, and some days I put the rose, some days I put the lavender. That kind of varies, but the most important ingredient that I put into it is gratitude. And so once it's made and it's in my cup and it's all foamy and beautiful, and I put it in this beautiful little peacock cup that I have, and I just sit and hold it for a few minutes and express gratitude, to the cacao, to this planet, because all of these things are gifts from the planet. And I just sit in a space of gratitude before I even take my first sip. And then while I'm sipping it, I have, beautiful spiritual music playing and just soaking that moment in. I mean, I'm lucky to live in a relatively quiet home, so no one's really disturbing me other than Merlin, my cat, sometimes. I am fortunate that Merlin realizes that cacao is not for him, so he's not trying to drink it from me. But gratitude is definitely the biggest thing, and I am just so grateful. I noticed it first in you, the creativity and the focus that was coming from the cacao. And when I got my own and experienced that myself, it was like, wow, like it wasn't just my imagination that she had all this extra creativity. I'm experiencing that too. And it even comes through like in the morning before I get, because most of the time I wake up before my alarm goes off anyway. So I lay there for a little bit and, just laying there looking forward to going and making my cacao. Like the ideas come just like a freight train,
They
and
just flood through. They just
and
flood
then I'm
through.
texting you too, like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do this.
Yeah. And then we did have that one, work day that we put together, right? Where
Oh,
where
yeah.
so you have your
There'll be a
daily.
video coming out on that.
Yeah, that's
Our
true.
editors are
So
working on it.
there's a daily dose, which is like half of a ceremonial dose, right? And the ceremonial dose really gets you going. And that, first of all, just from me to you, like sharing space with you is such always an incredible thing.
No, thank
And doing it with cacao is even more incredibly special. And then having that focus and that energy and just that flow of everything, like this is how our retreat has come together. Like this retreat that we're going to do in Mexico and all the other ones too, they're not just created to be special. They are specially created, right? They're not just created to create love. They're created with love because of love. It based in love, right? Like I know that sounds super woo, but it's just like putting the energy into
You're
the
speaking my
water.
language.
I fucking love woo. I just don't give a shit. Like it's where the bliss is, man.
Okay, listen, Graciela, we have to
Okay.
bring on our guest. And before we do, I'm just going to remind you that this is a 40-minute show. It's not a 2-hour show, okay?
It's not my fault we're bringing up a hot Latina woman.
It's tough trying to have it all, isn't it? You're successful, super busy, mostly happy, but something's missing.
We know what's missing. Lean in. It's you.
It's the authentic expression of yourself.
It is time to uncover your true self and create the fulfillment, joy, peace, and freedom that you crave.
Introducing our life-changing retreat, designed exclusively for women who are ready to release self-doubt, find balance, and embrace their authentic selves.
Join us as we embark on a journey where the magic of Mexico will ignite your spirit and set your soul free, I promise.
Nestled in the heart of Mexico, the captivating beauty of San Miguel de Allende provides a magical setting for our retreat and a sanctuary for women seeking profound change in their lives.
Our facilitators will guide you through a series of empowering workshops, enlightening ceremonies, and rejuvenating practices, all carefully curated by us to empower you to let go of self-doubt and step into your true potential.
Each day you'll be surrounded by the warmth of like-minded women ready to embrace self-discovery and all of life's possibilities.
And what's cool is that together, you'll form an unbreakable bond, supporting and inspiring each other as you navigate the path towards a more fulfilled and empowered life.
There's plenty of alone time set aside for you introverts so you can recharge and rejuvenate.
Amen. The retreat venue itself is one of a kind. Imagine a sprawling acreage nestled at the foot of a volcano. It also has botanical gardens, sacred spaces for ceremonies, and reflection.
It also has a magnificent dedicated spa room made entirely of quartz crystals, and a sauna and a cold plunge pool.
That's totally me. I'm in the sauna. There's even a therapeutic donkey living there. I'm so excited.
Can't wait to meet the donkey. Plus, every culturally rich meal is cooked for you. All you have to do is sit down and enjoy the experience.
I'm sorry, home-cooked meals in Mexico? Yay! So we'll also visit natural hot springs, check out the pyramids, do an easy nature hike, and we're going to explore San Miguel de Allende.
But the highlight of this trip is going to be Dia de los Muertos.
It is a time-honored tradition. City streets filled with painted faces. It's not just an homage to your ancestors, it's a celebration of the new you.
And it's all included.
Woo-hoo! So imagine coming back home and waking up each day knowing that you have the tools to create a life that brings you joy every single day.
And it's all within reach.
So the time is now and space is limited.
So visit our website at votgpodcast.com to learn more and reserve your spot.
I promise you, the journey to a more fulfilled and empowered life starts here.
We can't wait to create this magical experience with you.
See you soon.
Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you so much, ladies. Oh my gosh, so much that you said while I was waiting backstage resonates so much with me. So I'm super excited to be on this podcast and have been invited. I actually feel very honored. So thank you.
Well,
Thank
we're
you so
excited to have
much.
you here. She's our celebrity du jour. Can
Hmm.
you go ahead and tell our audience who you are, what you do, and how you keep it magical?
Oh, wow. It's a
That's
lot.
all. Just those
Well,
three things.
yes. I am Karen Larrea, and some of you may know me from the HBO Max reality dating series, My Mom, Your Dad, which I was on with my daughter. On there, we were cast on there. And from that, I've been given other opportunities. I am the dating coach for El News Cafe on Univision Network. So I go on that and help our viewers with their dating dilemmas. I also am a certified dating coach, and I'm also a mother of two, and most importantly, I am a woman living the best years of my life right now, and on my
Amen.
yeah.
Love that.
Amen. And with the good hair. Are you guys checking her out? My God, look at her with the hair.
That's all my guy. He's magic. He's magic. His name is Mike, so he's Magic Mike.
Oh.
Does he dance?
Probably what he's a cutie,
All good, all good. She's got
Brazilian cutie.
I've been watching you on social media. I absolutely love following you. If you guys are listening, please go follow Karen. Her stuff is hysterical. Like it, and tell the audience a little bit more about what you're doing on social media, because it is such a trip to follow you.
Well, I try, I do put some personal stuff on there. If you see pictures of me, you see things of me at work when I'm on the studio, or, something like this, I promote on there when I'm in work mode. But I love to do reels that really resonate with what's going on, whether it's for men, whether it's for women, if it's happening on both sides of the dating. I love that people think that it's related exactly to my life, which it's not. Majority of the time. It's about just relating to the people out there and my followers and what they're going through. So I find it hysterical going through some of the comments, like, you really have no idea. This is social media, and you've actually believed if people who believe everything on social media is like, you've played yourself. Like, don't do that to yourself. Just take it for what it is, learn. And I just think it's fun, and I am the number one pot stirrer. I love to stir the pot and get the conversation going. So, I think it's great. I think it's a great way of getting communication going and just getting conversations going on things that sometimes people don't want to talk about.
There should be nothing that we can't talk about. Like, we need to talk about everything, as that's how we
Absolutely.
learn and grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, what is it that people don't want to talk about? Let's talk about it.
Oh my gosh, they don't want to talk about, what men accuse women of how they are when they're dating, what women accuse men of how they're dating, the ghosting,
The ghosting.
that's my number one thing that I have with my dating clients and people that write me and DM me is the ghosting. It's like, listen, guys, it's not acceptable in your 20s, and it's not acceptable in your 70s. It just shouldn't happen. That's one of the huge topics that I speak a lot about with the ghosting, or a lot of is as women, instead of because society has almost forced us into our masculine energy, and they've let go of that feminine energy, which is such a beautiful energy. And there's no reason why you still cannot be a strong, independent woman and still have that beautiful, soft, feminine energy, which is, like I always say, like with the masculine energy, back in the days, let's just go back to caveman days. The caveman would go hunt, your man would come hunt, and he would bring you the lion. And what would happen? He would give it to his woman, and his woman would take it, and she would cook it and meals and put away and make sure that her family was taken care of. And a lot in society also, besides the women going into their masculine energies because we've been forced to, is a lot of men have gone into their feminine energy, and they're not where they should be as well. And that's okay to be also a leadership, a strong man, know how to lead his family or his partner, and still have also be into your feelings and have that feminine energy, because we both carry both of them. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's a matter of balancing them out. So I talk a lot about that as well.
Nice. You're speaking my language there.
Oh, I love all that. And people that go, I'll hear from men, I don't have any feminine in me. And I'm like, you're the most that has it in you, because you're so wounded in that response, and
Right.
It's like, let's get it into balance. Or when I see women even with my friends, not just my clients, I've had conversations with my friends, and they'll be like, I don't need a man to do this, and God forbid he better not open the car door. And I'm like, listen, as strong as independent as I come and who I speak my mind, how beautiful for a man to be in his masculine and know that I am a feminine woman and open that car door and thank you, and allow that. So I've even had those conversations. So there's a lot to be said, and I think it has a lot to do with society and what is being put out there. And I don't know. We could go into conspiracy theories. I don't know if it's to repress us. I have no idea. But at the end of the day, we really, really need to try to balance out.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, right? Even the concept of gender roles and things like that, like, come on, people, like, it's so archaic right now, right? Like, holding a door for someone is not gender determinant, right? It is a kind act that one person can do for another. That's really it at the end of the day, right? Like,
yes. It's like, let's not take offense to that, and also, men, if they want to cry, I have a 15-year-old son. I'm raising a boy to be a man. And I tell him, I do have him do certain things like, papi, these are things that you have to do as a man, and you have to have, those responsibilities. But guess what? If you feel you need to cry, let it out. If you feel that you need to express something to me, let it out. Because I also don't want him to turn into a man that's 35 and is having so many problems in his relationship because he's emotionally unavailable to his partner. So I am, trying at that as a mother. And then I have a 22-year-old daughter who I tell her, you need to let's step back into your feminine. Stop that, what they've put out there about these women have to go out and do everything and be man. And at the end of the day, how about we just, respect each other and know where we're each coming from and work on ourselves, which is so important.
And the thing is, I think it's truly our natural state to be in that flow, right? Like, if you were to remove society, if you were to remove all of this, and it's not even society per se, it's the misuse of the beautiful tools that we have, right? Yes. Media and magazines and newspapers and reality TV shows, right? And all of these things, like, let's use these things for good. Let's use them the right way. Let's use them to show that life can be simple and easy and beautiful, and it doesn't have to be drama.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I try to always, we have one life, and it's like you guys were talking about when I was backstage, gratitude. Oh my gosh, that is so important. I start every day, my eyes open up. I'm like, thank you, God, for allowing me this day. I tell him, let's go. And listen, I'm like anyone else, 99% of the time I always live in that state of gratitude. Just to open my eyes, because if not, it is like you said, it's like you're almost drinking that water if it's poison, or you can drink that water and it's a beautiful, magical water going inside you. And, get up, let's go, Karen. You opened your eyes. And before I do anything, I write every single day 10 things I am grateful for, as small as they are or as big as they are. And that kind of sets the tone of my day. I do my reading, my little reading that I do, which, inspirational reading. And I may stub my toe coming out of my bathroom. And you know what? For a lot of people, that can set their day off. And instead, you kind of bring yourself back into like, okay, no, I'll start thinking, I'm grateful my toe didn't break. I'm grateful my leg I can still walk. So you got to almost like train your mind to look at the positive in it, even as something like, shoot, my toe just almost came off, but I'm not going to go into a bad mood. So I loved how you ladies spoke about gratitude, which is such a wonderful way of living.
And I always think it's like, sometimes the universe challenges you to see, like, how committed are you to,
sometimes every day.
Well, let me throw a little fork in the, like, let's see what happens. Okay, she stubbed her toe. Is she gonna, because you could let that allow you to completely fall apart.
Yes.
Or you can check yourself and say, no, this is what I'm committed to, and keep going forward.
And if that falls apart, guess what? The next thing falls apart, and then it just becomes an avalanche, and the next thing falls apart, and all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're like, "What a crappy day I've had today!" And that all stemmed from when you came out and stubbed your toe from that bathroom. So it's all in a matter of how you put it into perception.
And it's reinforcing, right? The more
Yeah.
do you say to yourself, what a crappy day I've had, what a crappy day I'm having, that's right. What you focus, where your attention goes, energy
Yeah.
flows. That's what you're attracting over and over and over again.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
And it's not, listen, ladies, it's not something, and you ladies know this because you work on yourselves a lot. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something that, oh my
just
God, you're just a happy, chippy person. It's a matter of working on yourself, and it's working on yourself until you take your last breath and move on to the next realm of your life.
So that leads me to my next question, which is about limiting beliefs. Like when you got thrown into the spotlight, which I can only imagine the conversation that your daughter had with you to say, "Hey, mom, want to go be on a reality show?" Like, no, but she didn't tell you, or she told you and it was a surprise. Remind me, how did that go?
No. She asked me because we had to, we had to send
Okay.
her paperwork and audition and all that. And she did ask me, and I just didn't know that when we went on this reality show, we were separated by, there was the parents' house and there was the adult children's house. And she controlled my love life and who I dated, but I had no knowledge of that.
Oh my gosh.
So I was trying to have a relationship here, and she kept interfering. And I'm like, because they told us it was dating coaches controlling, giving us, giving,
Ah.
um, telling us what to do and what dates and giving us advice. And I'm like, what in the heck are these dating coaches and where are they coming from? And it was actually my daughter.
Wow. So to get to that level and to get to where you are today, what limiting beliefs did you have to release to get there? Like, give our audience a little hope that what they're going through can be passed on, moved on as
Um,
well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's hard to not have limiting beliefs. You do have to get to yourself in a place of your mind. I think you have to follow your passion no matter what. Don't allow yourself. Listen, do you know how many times and how many things on social media or when I go and do these interviews and you get criticism or you get DMs, I get much more, hey, I'm so happy you're doing this and you're inspiring me than the criticism, but you do get those and those can bring you down. Guess what? Those are the people so for your viewers that are watching, those are the people that wish they had the nerve to do what you're doing and to go out to do it. And they have the fear and that it doesn't allow them. So what do? They go into the mode of criticism. Like I always say, unless they're paying my bills, no one has a voice. No, and some I'm still gonna argue with you.
I was gonna say, and even that, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say, and then I'm still gonna argue with you, or not argue, but I'm still gonna have very nice discussions as to about certain things if I have beliefs in it. So it's just really, and believing in yourself. There was so much in my past where for my past relationships and the past partners I've had, I was always the biggest cheerleader. I was always, you could do this. You're the best. Let's go do this. And guess what? I never put that bet on myself.
Mm.
And so once I had that opportunity and get back into the spotlight, because I was in the spotlight since I was 15 years old until I was 19. I fell in love and got married to my ex-husband, which is the father of my children. That wasn't the life he wanted, so I let that go. So I didn't get back into it until I was in my 40s again. And I was like, I felt like an imposter. What the heck am I doing back in front of the cameras? And at that point, you know what? I have bet on everyone but myself. And just take a chance and bet on yourself. Be your biggest cheerleader. Don't allow fear to take over. You may be embarrassed for that moment. Listen, there's so many videos that I have to do or reels that I do in public or pictures and people are staring. I've had people take pictures and before I'd be like, oh my God, they're taking video of the reels that I'm doing or the videos that I'm taking. Now I'm like, hey, hi, how you doing? Because now it's like, so what? What are they impacting my life? So I think it's just let it go and believe in yourself and be your biggest cheerleader because no one is going to cheer you on as much as you're going to cheer on yourself and believe in yourself.
Thank you for sharing that story. What comes to mind is stay the course, right?
Yes. Oh,
Like I think back to, I call this time of my life right now, someone else might call it a midlife crisis, but I guarantee you I'm not in crisis. I am in my midlife awakening.
yes.
Because the things that I wanted to do when I was 15, like you, I got into a relationship and I set aside my wants and needs and interests and all of that because, I was being the dutiful, Cuban wife. And then I got divorced, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, where did I leave off? I was doing something, right? And so then I, kept on doing my thing, and then I got into another relationship, and bless his heart, I love my partner. We've been together almost 20 years, but I left myself again because I had children and da 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 da, and now it's like, okay, we're here again, and the universe is like, wake up, girl. Like, this is the third round. How many rounds do you think you got left? And so that to me, like, is the biggest takeaway from that, is like, stay the course. If you know what you like, you know who you are, your authentic self, right? Like when you were 19, you knew.
Yes.
Like, don't waste your time, man. Stay doing your thing.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to say women, I'm going to say goddesses that are watching this. I mean, right now, this is like, if you feel you're in your prime, you are in your prime, go for it, and as women, goddesses, we put ourselves last. We're not last. And you need to take the time to be able, like you said, oh my God, you were on your third round, and hello, your spirit guides were saying, wake up, what are you doing? God's tapping you on the shoulder, and you're like, oh no, like you said, let me be the Cuban wife and be the good, wife here and mother. And you need to take that time and fill your cup up. And I learned that definitely probably in the last 4 years. I would give 150% of myself to my children, to my relationship. And I was just like, hold up, where did I go? Where did I get lost in this process? And now my children even say, like, they love, I do, even vacations with them. And then I'll do vacations with my sister, and I'll do vacations alone. And they'll be like, they're like the biggest supporters. Go, mom, you need that time. Because I come back as a better mom. I come back as better as a woman, as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend. I come back and fill myself up. And they know that. So definitely take time for yourself and stay the course.
Yeah, I think that people forget that if you don't make time for yourself, if you don't fill your cup, at some point you're going to be empty, and you're not going to have anything to give to those people that you want to give to.
Yeah. And you know what, that usually happens, like when we hit 40 and go, wait a minute, what happened here? I'm feeling empty after 40, because that's a lot of the time. If you're married, if you've had children, because you've given so much, or, or even as a divorced mom, and you're like, wait a minute, what happened here? Where am I? So because you start figuring out, okay, half my life is almost gone. And then that's when it hits you. And that's when I say midlife crisis. No, like, I love how good I said it. It's my midlife awakening.
Well, and this happens to like entrepreneurs, right? All the time, and obviously, like, our show is women focused, but it's male friendly. It happens to guys too. All of a sudden they're 45 and they're like, wait a minute, I meant to get married and have kids. I forgot, because it's insidious. Like, you don't even realize that you've been, putting off your joy in the name of something that maybe you didn't even choose for yourself,
Absolutely. And I just had this conversation on Sunday with my daughter about, she's 22. She's like, I said, you really need to carve out, even if it's 30 minutes a day for yourself, or if you want to take a walk, work out, whatever. She says, Mom, I don't know. My day is so busy. And I'm like, take 30 minutes. And I had the whole conversation about how important it is, even at her age. She's working and college and going to other classes, acting classes. So I said to her, you need to just take that time for yourself and say, I need 30, even if it's 30 minutes, and do it just for yourself. And so,
for now, you have to point out to her that it's going to make everything so much better. Like, it will literally increase everything 20%. Like,
absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I think busy also has become like a badge of honor in society. Like, if you're not busy, you're nothing.
Yeah.
And I've been really focusing on, because our words are powerful. We create, everything was created by sound, and words are spelled because you cast spells with words. And one of the words I've been working on lately is removing busy from my vocabulary.
Yeah.
My schedule can be full, but I don't need to be busy.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Busy is not a badge of honor. I agree.
So we are big book fans over here, and we're amassing the Goddess Library.
Okay.
Do you have a contribution to our library? What book do you think all goddesses should read?
Can I say a bad word?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I had been told to read this book for so long. A lot of people, like 90% of people, probably know what this book is. I had been told to read this book, and I was like, I don't want to read that book. That title of that book, oh, it's so ugly. It's really not about what it is. So, Why Men Love Bitches. It has nothing to do about being a bitch. It has nothing to do about treating men bad. It's about setting healthy boundaries for yourself and self-respect within relationships without being bitchy, without being nasty, without being mean, without treating them bad. And once I read that book, I went and I told like 4 friends, get this book, get this book, get this book. It has nothing. The title is like I like to do on my social media, it's a stir the pot. So it's a stir the pot title without what actually the book is about. So ladies, if you're listening, or goddesses, go out and get Why Men Love Bitches. And it's really about just setting healthy boundaries in relationships and self-respect.
That is hysterical. What a great name. You're right. The name would have turned me off, but I'm glad that you said what it was about. And as a reminder to our audience, what are boundaries? Boundaries are actions that you will take in certain situations. You can't make anyone else do anything else. So a boundary is not you need to do this and you need to do that. A boundary is I'm going to choose to do this and I'm going to choose to do that. That's a healthy boundary. So don't get stuck in trying to change someone else or make someone do something that is not them. Work on yourself.
I love that you said that and that you gave the explanation, because that's the first thing I always get with my clients. They'll be like, so these boundaries are for them to not follow. I go, no, you cannot make anyone do anything. This is for the boundaries you hold yourself accountable to. So I love that you just explained that.
Well, it's important because, until someone tells you, you just don't know what you don't know, right? Exactly. And especially nowadays, we're hearing the word boundaries so much. And, the word boundary almost comes across with a bit of aggression, right? Like, oh, she's got boundaries. Like if she's got a disease, right? She's got boundaries. No, she has a healthy self-respect that makes her feel good, right? Like my friend who sends me these memes making fun of me because, like, if you invite me somewhere, the first thing I'm going to do is do a Google map so I can see what the parking is like. Yeah. And if it's stressful parking or if it's like in Miami, I'm just telling you right now, I'm just not going to go. I just don't want to go. So she sends me these memes that are like, oh, your toxic trait is saying that you're down for anything, except what you really mean is that you want to be home early, that you don't want to have a lot of traffic, and that you want really good parking when you get there. And I'm like, these are my boundaries. And they make me feel good. So you know what? I out there.
Absolutely. I agree with you. Absolutely. And it's very healthy to have boundaries. I have actually dated a guy, and he would tell me, you and your rules. And I'm like, they're boundaries. They're not rules. And they're not for you. They're for me. So,
right. They're here for your safety and the safety of those around you.
Exactly. Absolutely. So yes, it's a great book. And that's why I refused for years. People would say, like, no. Finally, I gave in. I was like, wow, this is not what I thought it was about.
Nice.
Yeah. That is absolutely hysterical.
In my office every day, people come to me because they're in physical pain, but oftentimes there's emotional issues behind that we deal with. And, just say, for example, happiness comes up and what makes you happy. And someone will say, well, I would be happy if they would da 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 da. And I said, right there, you're putting your happiness in the hands of somebody else.
Yes.
Like, the only one that can do anything to change your happiness is you. And so you need to figure out what that is. And it can't be dependent on somebody else, or you will never, ever be happy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where codependency starts, which is, oh my God, we can go a whole other podcast on that about codependency. And it's not, so it was, and codependency can go both ways. So that's like 3 other podcasts actually.
Right.
But yeah,
I'm curious on your take on, as a dating coaching expert, I've heard a lot about that, like, you should take yourself on a date, right? Because if then when you meet someone, like, they have to treat you better than you treat yourself and things like that. How do you feel about that?
I treat myself exactly like I like to be treated by a partner. And I will tell you, I treat myself very well. So that tells you right there. Not only do I do dates with myself, I take myself on solo vacations, and they're nice vacations. I take myself out to dinner dates, and I don't do the bar. I go and sit at a table nicely. I don't whip out my phone. I observe. I enjoy my drink. I enjoy the food in front of me. Listen, it's not easy. Did it take me a while to get there? Absolutely. So I've been doing this for years. But yes, you have to absolutely, I think, take yourself on dates, spoil yourself Pamper yourself, treat yourself, love yourself. And when you say that to love yourself, some people go, oh, that sounds kind of neurotic, or that's like narcissist. And I go, no, you don't get it. You need to love yourself in order for someone to love you the way you want to be loved. And that goes back to the happiness part. If you're not happy with yourself, no one's going to bring, not even just a partner. My children are not going to do my children bring me happiness, add to my happiness? Absolutely. But if I'm not happy as a mom, that's not going to be filling. Or as a woman, or myself, not even as a mom, as myself as a woman, that's not going to be filling. So no children, no job, no friends, no material item is not going to bring you happiness if you're not happy within yourself. So yes, date yourself, go out, treat yourself, spoil yourself. Don't leave things for a special occasion. Every day is a special occasion, and just exactly how you want someone to treat you, treat yourself and love yourself, and be proudly to say it. Because I'll say it, I'm in a love affair with myself, and I'm the first one to say it. That doesn't mean anything that I'm conceited or that it's narcissist. Absolutely not. It just means that I have a very healthy relationship within myself, for myself.
I always say, if everybody truly loved themselves, all the problems that exist in the world would disappear.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely.
Well, I'll tell you a 30-second story of the last date I took myself on, because I did such a good job. I have to share this. I'm so proud of me, and maybe it'll serve as inspiration. Yeah. So I was in Phoenix last year for a photography conference, and I had heard that there was a really cool Mexican restaurant named The Mission. It's like in an old convent or something like that, like an old church or something like that. Anyway, so I go, can I tell you that they sat me in a chair all the way in the back, so I had the entire view of the restaurant. It was like being at a dinner show. Okay. Yes. I'm by myself. I had everything that I wanted. Like, I'm the type of person that I enjoy a 7-course meal. So like, I like an appetizer. I like a drink before. I like the meal. I like the dessert. I like the coffee, and I like to take my time. Don't rush me. If you don't want to eat like con gusto, don't eat with me, please. Like, I hate rushing through a meal. So when the drinks were so good, I ended up basically getting myself drunk. It was phenomenal. And then I had to wait it out because I was there too. So then I had to just have a little more. But it was hysterical because I'm watching other people on dates, and, you know, I'm just sitting there so I can hear everybody. I'm not eavesdropping. They're just sitting like right next to me. Yeah. Oh my God, you guys, I have laughed my ass off. Like, I have had such a good time going to that restaurant. And you're right. I'm like, this is the bar. Like, this is the bar. Like, you meet me here and it gets better, you know?
Absolutely. And I love that. And I love how you, and especially us, because, you know, we're chismosas because we're Latinas. So, you know, we go out, and I go out like by myself, and I'll start they're on their second date, and they've been on their 4th date, and they're already married for 30 years. And those are friends, and they're having all fun. Look at those 4 girlfriends together. How much fun. And they probably get together once a month for girls' night. And, you know, we're making up all these stories.
Yeah.
So fun to do that. Yeah. But I love that you did that. Yes.
Well, and I thank you for your message, because loving yourself, you know, our last question is always, what is your parting thought to give to our audience? But I feel like, you know, love yourself is it. That's the
love
big
yourself
one.
And do not worry. Listen, as long as you're not harming anyone and you're not causing harm to anyone, don't worry about what they're saying about you and criticizing you for. Live your life to your fullest and radiate, you know, from within.
I think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. That's the perfect place to be. Karen, we could do this all day long. You absolutely know we can. We're just scratching the surface. We might have to do a round 2 later on. I don't even know.
I'm up for it. Let's go for it, ladies. And I cannot wait to join in on some of the events that you're having. So I am so there. And you have some great events coming up at the end of this month, and, you know, your retreat. So there's so many good things that you guys offer the community, which is, thank you for doing that job, because it does take a lot out of you. And I know you do it, you know, with a lot of love. So thank you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the truth is that, like everything else, even like this podcast, we do it because we need it for ourselves. You know, we do it because if I need it, you need it, you know, we all need it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're super excited, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being on the show. Thank you, everyone, for listening in. And I want to wish everybody a magical day.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today and keeping us in the top 10% of podcasts in the world.
Ask us how you can promote your business on this podcast as a sponsor, and make sure you check out the show notes for details on how to get in touch with Julieta, Graciela, or today's special guest.
We're sending you lots of love and gratitude. Have a magical day.